In this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 tips for branding your new cafe or reviving your existing cafe. We'll discuss what the difference is between branding and logos, whether you can do it yourself or if you really do need to hire some help. We're going to talk about how to plan ahead, designing something that you and your customers will love. And we also want to keep it really practical and really flexible for the life of your business. And I do want to talk about what you can expect to spend on this branding. Now, to give you some context of why I feel I can help you with your branding, I'll give you some of my background. I guess I've always worked in coffee, but for some time I did work for an agency as a full-time graphic designer. I got to work with a range of businesses and do their branding, and I just had to make sure it was really effective and make sure they got the most out of it. So Artistic was actually one of my clients. I worked with Luke and the team to develop the brand that you see today. Now, we rolled out a new look and feel that would transpose across packaging, signage, print material, marketing, and ultimately be replicated in all of our cafe partners' locations. And we've seen some great success in that so far. Now, 8 months into launching the new branding, I joined the Artistic team and I've been working with the team here, rolling it out and having some great success in that as well. So our branding, I feel, is still timeless. It's strong as ever, really, and the forethought that went into it was well worth the time, effort, and investment. Now, Artistic is clearly just that bit bigger than, say, maybe your cafe, but that's fine. We're still, the same concepts still apply. So the cafes that I've designed branding for have still been able to create a really strong identity for their business and seen massive benefits too. So let's take you to answering the first question: what is the difference between branding and a logo? Now, your logo is really just a symbol of your business that people can instantly recognize you by. It's not your branding. Your branding is all of the design elements that come together to reflect the vision of your business, and it gives the viewer a sense of who you are and what you stand for. Now, it's the language you use online and in your print material, it's the vibe of the cafe, and it's why people feel connected and drawn to you. That is your branding as a whole. Now, knowing that, let's go into my top 5 things to think about when branding your new or existing cafe. Now, number 1, do you need to hire a designer, and how to get the most out of one if you really do. Now, you've really got to check if you have the skills to design everything that you'll need. There's definitely a skill to using like Adobe programs and designing. It is much harder than it looks. There are websites like Fiverr and Canva that can be really useful. And they're a much more affordable way to have a logo designed for you, or to use some of the templates and move it forward from that. So I'm not opposed to them, but they have a different outcome and some challenges of their own. But that might be all you get from those, and you might just get the logo, and that's kind of it, and it might only get you so far. Now, spending lots of time doing it yourself could also be, not a great use of your time. So paying someone else to free you up to do what you do best might be a better use of your personal time. So I'd say, starting today, start doing your research. Find logos that you love. Find all the images that you have a passion for, and you want to start to put together a vision board of branding that you love. If you do engage with a designer, these references will be a massive help and will be part of the briefing process. Now, in my opinion, hiring a professional designer is really going to help you if you want to be really consistent and ensure you have all of the file types you need for the different areas you'll need the designs for. Now, that leads me to my second point. Let's start thinking about what you'll need to design so that you can plan ahead. Some of the basic design needs for a cafe would be a logo, your signage, your menus, your social media, your flyers, business cards, branded products like paper cups. You've got merchandise, you've got uniforms, websites, marketing both online and print, and there's heaps more. There's so much that you'll end up doing and wanting to have the resources to be able to achieve that yourself. Now, you need to ensure that your branding is really practical and can be applied to all of these areas really easily. Now, at some point, you won't want to pay a designer to put your logo on just everything for you. You'll need to make sure that a good designer can display all of your branding elements in a range of formats. Make sure they give you a JPEG, a PNG, an EPS, a PDF for all the different things you'll need over time. with all of the different variations of colors in white, in reversed, so that you can do some of the work yourself, save yourself some money, and ultimately ensure that you're getting a great result from someone that you're paying, getting everything that you need to move forward. Now, the last thing you want to do is to pay a designer to create a Facebook profile for you. Hiring a designer will ensure you've really got everything you need to be self-sufficient, but keep yourself involved, keep them involved should you need to do any major projects. Now, someone like one of our customers, one of our cafe partners called Booyah Espresso Bar, I work closely with. Now, even their name goes back to the local traditional language, and that was something that they connected strongly with. Their branding connects some of the indigenous symbols plus the movement of the local waves. They've had that transposed, painted on the building. They've had that on obviously cards, and now they're doing merchandise, and they're selling that merchandise as something into the community that people are connecting with, and they've had some great results from that, and they're continuing to build their own brand and making sure that they've got everything they need to do so. Now, let's not forget who we're designing for. So when you're designing your branding, don't lose sight of the fact that it needs to appeal to your target audience. So if you've got a certain clientele and you don't want to lose them, you may need to consider them when designing your branding. If you're designing a new cafe and you've got a vision for it, commit to your style and own it. You just don't want to be second guessing yourself later. Now, a word of advice, make sure you love your branding, because if you don't, you just won't want to use it. So it's worth taking the time to ensure you love it. Point number 4, keep it practical and keep it flexible. This has always been something that I've been applied when I've done design, and now it works here with Artistic because we have the design capabilities, but we also have the flexibility in our branding, both with a monogram, our logo in different formats, and that allows us to be practical and flexible when we want to do things really quickly on the fly or think about big projects ahead of time. Now, cafes move really quickly. You can often find that they need things like signage and menus updated so quickly. You need to ensure that you've chosen a branding style that can be flexible and adaptable to your needs really quickly. You'll only be frustrated if there's a slow turnaround on time for designers or printers when you're completely reliant on them. So graphics are great, and they can have a huge impact, like illustrations and stuff like that. Just be mindful they can require a designer to make them work in all areas. So obviously the more skilled you are in that area, the more you can adapt yourself. But a simple typography logo can go a long way and be a really practical option for you. Now, let's also be mindful that choosing lots of colors will add costs and result in varying colors by different printers. For instance, when we're thinking about shirt designs, there's additional costs that you might incur if you have multiple colors in your logos. We learned this when we were outsourcing our own personal label printing to a company to do bulk printing, and they seemed to get a different color back to us every time. The fix, rather than being a strong red, was more like an awkward orange, and that was one of the hard lessons we had to learn by sending printing to other people. Now, we've made that more consistent by and looking more professional by starting to use our own labels in-house. So we've invested in a printer, and that could be something for you, that being able to turn around your artwork and your print material really quickly and having everything you need in-house could be of great value to you and your business. Now, we also did choose quite a unique color for our logo, which helps us to stand out in a crowd. However, we do pay extra for printing, as I have to color match this Pantone. So again, that is a cost you can avoid if you don't have the budget, and it's just another thing for you to think about. So consistency in the use of your colors, your images, your typography, and your brand elements is what will really give your branding the longevity and effect you're looking for. So lastly, how much should I really be spending on my branding? Now, this is the golden question, and the simple answer is whatever it's worth to you. Now, a simple $200 JPEG logo from Fiverr will only get you so far, but getting your uncle to design you a logo, give you a font and an icon, $500 could be a good starting point for you and your small cafe. It's still going to get the doors open and give you something to use, but maybe depending on where you're up to and what you really value in your business, and branding could be super valuable to you. So spending over $1,000 with an agency to supply a few branding concepts, which will be much more fun, and they'll supply a range of assets and that you can use yourself. But then the ultimate goal for everyone is to spend, $3,000 plus with an agency and do some market research, find out what point of difference you have, develop a brief based on your vision board, consulting meetings, plus supply a range of logos in varying formats with brand assets, and you'll have an amazing experience, and you'll be able to portray that back to your customers. And this is something that I personally will always enjoy doing, and you might be slightly a bit more out of pocket, but you'll love everything that you produce, and you'll have everything you need to build a strong brand and a strong identity, and you'll have access to a range of assets to be consistent for years to come. Now, in my opinion, branding is really important. It showcases your individuality and creates a unique identity for your business that your customers will love and attach themselves to. It's something I currently encourage all of our cafe partners to do. I offer my services to everyone that we supply, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them in the comments below. I'll also put my contact details in the description below, so you can contact me if you feel your new or existing cafe would benefit from my services and our consultant work here that we do from Artistic Coffee Roasters. Now, thank you so much for watching. I hope this really helps you to build your brand and build your business. Please put your comments below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon and the like button, and I'll see you next time. Thanks heaps, guys.